From the Downtown Tyler Visitor Center, this is Roses and Weeds. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome into Roses and Weeds. You're now hearing from the entire communications team. My name is Bob Malden. We're going to go around and introduce the entire team here in short order, but first want to welcome in everyone who is now able to watch the podcast of Roses and Weeds. We have a camera in the room here that's going to get all the shots and all the folks, and of course, let's start over here with Julie Goodgame and Adriana Rodriguez-Nelly to introduce themselves.
I'm Julie Goodgame. I am the communications director for the City of Tyler, and you know me from many past episodes.
And I'm Adriana Rodriguez. I'm one of the public information officers for the communications department.
And then I'm Peyton Weidman. I'm also a public information officer for the City of Tyler.
I'm Luann Campbell, and I also am a public information officer for the City of Tyler.
And you might see our titles as PIOs, so that's what it officially stands for, Public Information Officer.
And you guys do work in different areas, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
We're kind of split across the different departments for the city. Julie has us over different areas that she thinks fits our strengths.
Yes, and you are now, so really you're subject matter experts for these areas, and that's going to be very important on today's episode and why we've brought you all together, gathered together today. But first, back to you, Bob.
Okay, well, I'm still Bob, and you'll be seeing the back of my head a lot during this because I'm not only in here talking and chatting with them, I'm also controlling what you see on the video over here and what you hear in the audio portion of the podcast. So if you see the back of my head a lot, that's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I'm working to make sure that you can see them because they're the ones with all the good information. But today, we have something very exciting that we want to share with you. That's
Hold on, Bob.
What?
Introduce yourself. Give your title first if nobody's ever watched this before.
Okay.
That way they know why you're so focused on our video and audio.
Well, I'm the multimedia producer for the City of Tyler, so I produce video and audio projects. This podcast, of course, is one of those, and I've been the only host that's been on every episode of the podcast except the last one.
Yes.
And that dadgum COVID got me, and I had to miss, so I was not on the last one. But let me tell you, Adriana and Julie did an excellent job of hosting that podcast, and I loved it.
Although you had to spend like 3 hours editing it.
Hey, it was something to do while I was sitting at home, bored, and feeling useless. So
Maybe
I was
not
able
so great, though.
It was something to do with the day. But moving right along now, we do want to get to part of the reason that we're doing this way, where you can see it and where we have the entire team here, is because we have something really exciting that we want to tell them, don't we, Peyton?
We sure do. So, coming up on January 18th, the City of Tyler's Facebook is going to be having a live show, and you're seeing the cast right here. It's going to be us, PIOs. It's going to be called From the Inbox, just like this podcast episode, where we're going to be talking to you just about what's going on with the city, different events, different projects, from roads, sewer to parks, everything that you might be interested in that's coming up. And like I said, that's going to be January 18th, and we're going to be starting at 9 a.m.
And we're also going to be answering some of your questions. So if you have questions for the city that have been bothering you your entire life, you can put them in the comments and we will answer it live for you. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. We picked the top questions that we had this year, throughout the entire year, throughout every single department, and we're going to answer them all for you.
And we're kind of working on the capability during the live show, because one of the cool things about doing a live stream on social media is that a lot of times we can address and answer questions almost immediately, and so we'll be able to get some of your comments in on that show as well. That's something we're working on being able to do. May not be able to do it right out of the box that first episode, but it is something that we're hoping will be part of it.
Yes, and if you leave a question that we're ever unable to respond to during the live show or at any time, we will always get back to you. You can message our Facebook, City of Tyler, Texas, or you can write us in at publicrelations@tylertexas.com, and Tyler, Texas, all spelled out.
That's one great thing about this team, by the way, is they answer every single message that comes in. So if you ask a question, you're going to get an answer.
Or you'll get a whole podcast episode about it.
That's right.
That has been known to happen. So anyway, from the inbox today, we're actually doing that. We're actually answering some of the biggest questions we've had throughout the year of 2022. And I think the best thing to do is just dive right in and get some of these questions, Julie.
Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start with some of our infrastructure questions because, and I know that's a big word, but people write into us all the time about their roads, their streets, drainage, all of these things, what's happening. And one of the ones we get often, and Tyler is a growing city, so we have a lot of construction going on, is why has my road been shut down or under construction for this very long time? And so, Luann, since this is your area, your expertise, what are some of the top reasons that causes construction like that to seem to last forever?
Well, definitely Mother Nature does have her hand in that. Rain and temperature have a lot to do with when we can lay asphalt. If it's too cold, we can't lay it. If it's too hot, we can't lay it. So
isn't that temperature around 80 degrees? Isn't that what you were telling me the other day?
Between 50 and 90 is what I've read and what I've been told. So yeah, it has to be a ground temperature and ambient temperature. I'll have to work out, and there has to be about 3 days of that in a row. So sometimes it's hard to get that 3 days in a row, especially when we're going to do asphalt enhancements or any sort of paving. But another reason is there's large projects going on right now in the city of Tyler. One of those is down south on Cambridge Road, and it's a beast of a project. It's a long roadway. It goes from Broadway all the way up to.
Is that Jeff Davis?
Jeff Davis, thank you. Yeah. So it's quite a sprawl out there, and this used to be a county road. So we're taking a county road and a section of a neighborhood, this neighborhood in particular that was annexed into the city, and we're making that county road a city road. So our city has construction standards that we have to abide by, and we have to build our infrastructure too. And this particular project is highly involved because it doesn't involve just the surface of the roadway. It involves what's underneath the roadway, which is water pipes, sewer pipes, drainage infrastructure. And to get down to all that, it takes some time to dig all that up, replace it all with the stuff that we need to be under there that meets the construction standards we have here. And it's weather dependent again, and its supply might be an issue. So there's a lot that can be involved in that. And also when you dig up a road, you never really know what's there. It's kind of a puzzle sometimes to take apart. And we have other utilities under there too that don't belong to us. So we have to coordinate with other companies like AT&T or the gas company or the electric company to move their stuff if they need to, or at least tell us what's there and what we can do to avoid it or cover it back up, or whatever we need to do to make that happen.
A good example of that was the Rice Road drainage sinkhole we had recently.
Yes.
So if you want to talk about all the utilities we had to move.
Yes. Well, we found a sinkhole. It was reported to us, so we went over there and checked it out. And yes, in fact, the pavement was cracking and going into the ground. Lo and behold, there was somebody had a contractor or a cable company had bored through one of our storm drained systems that was under the ground, and that was taking in dirt, also letting out water that wasn't supposed to be there. So it was just this perfect storm of events that happened over a long period of time underneath the ground there, and it just fell through, and we had a sinkhole there with lots of stuff going on. We had a brick manhole that was there probably from the 60s. The infrastructure there, the water pipes, the sewer pipes, everything was all there, and including some cable lines because Suddenlink's right there, and some phone lines most likely. So we had to coordinate that with a lot of other outside agencies before we could really get everything replaced and dig down as deep as we needed to get to the root problem of that. So we got there. We replaced everything we needed to replace except the ongoing work that's going on the sewer line. And since we uncovered that sewer line, it made sense for us to go ahead and replace it now, rather than just cover it back up and have to go back in, next month or next year. So we have it open now. We're going to go ahead and take care of it.
And so rather than patch a spot, they're going to go ahead and just take care of everything under there now while they have it dug up. That's good. Good stuff. And then, so talk a little bit about the relationship with contractors on some of these projects and how we work with contractors to do this.
Yes. Well, we don't have a team that works for the city of Tyler that goes out and builds things like this. Those are big projects that we don't have the equipment to do that. We don't have the people to do that. So we hire local companies from around this area usually that have that expertise that can dig up a whole entire road from point A to point B and uncover all the lines and all of that stuff and do a preliminary study of what's there and what needs to happen. So those relationships are very important. We have a lot of good companies here in Tyler that we work with, and they provide oversight as well of the construction that goes on. And there are some companies here that have really built Tyler from underground to the top of to the highest peak. So yeah, it's a great thing when you look at the whole situation going on.
And when you talk about roads, you can't help but think about traffic in the city of Tyler. And so are we really fixing traffic in the city?
We are. We have a master plan for that, and it's a 10-year plan. We can't do all this at once. We can't take out every traffic signal at once and replace it. We can't take out all the equipment and do it all at once. So we are doing it in segments. We have retimed traffic signals all the way down Broadway and a couple other corridors. And there's a big formula for how much that saves us, and it's hard to understand. But basically, what I've got from our traffic engineer, that the after study that they did indicates retiming of 19 of these intersections on Broadway resulted in the delay savings of about 231,000 vehicle hours per year.
Wow.
Which translates to more than 7 million annual driver delay. So it's a big. I tried to look up the formula, but I don't understand that stuff. But we have
engineers.
A great traffic engineer who has studied this and does this for a living, and he has done some time. He does a lot of timing with these things, and he can do it now from his laptop. He can do it in a vehicle. He doesn't have to go out and work in the environment for hours on end trying to manipulate the timing in some old boxes that have old equipment in there that isn't really working with the new equipment. So we're at a point right now where we have a computer-controlled system. The hardware and software is there. We've got new school zone flashers. We've got some detection set up at some of the most busy intersections. We've retimed a lot of these lights, and we're looking at doing more of that in the future. And right now, we are in the preliminary phases of doing the preemption for the fire department vehicles, which will help them with their response time.
And I have a personal story that I tell everybody, and people I put it on Tyler Rings and Raves, and people didn't believe me, but I'm telling you on camera, I drove from Amherst on Broadway all the way to the toll. Not a single red light. It was the most beautiful time, and it's possible. It's real.
And it wasn't like the middle of the night?
No, it was during the day. It was actually during the holidays last year.
Wow.
Oh, so that's good. See, I have a personal, anytime usually I live near downtown Tyler, and anytime I want to go to South Tyler near the Cumberland Villages, it used to take me about 30 to 35 minutes. Well, over the last year and a half, it's gone down to about 20 minutes. Now, I have not tried doing that this holiday season, so I'm sure it's probably not as fast because everybody is coming to Tyler to Christmas shop on top of our regular community. But yeah, it's been great, I've thought. And anytime I sit at a light for longer than what I think is 2 minutes, I start timing because I'm like, okay, do I need to report this? Do I need to report this? And it usually changes right after I have that thought.
Let's talk. That's a nice segue. So there are occasionally there are things that can delay us outside of sometimes there may be a power issue at a light or a pothole that may be large enough that you've got to go around. So let's talk about how do we report those.
Brilliant segue.
Yes, I know. Peyton really gave it to it.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Nice job.
But yes, if you ever have any of those type of issues like Julie just mentioned, where you see a pothole, your light maybe taken longer than what you want it to take or you think it should take, the My Tyler Tyler app is free, and it's where you can report those issues without having to call or send an email. You just pull out your phone. It's a free app. You can download it, and it'll go straight to the departments that need to know that information. So it's not coming into us and then us rerouting it to them, or going, potentially to, you think you've got the right department, but not really. It goes straight to who it needs to go to. And Adriana actually has another personal story with all of us when we're in the car one day with this.
Yeah, we actually, we were all in the car together going to lunch, I think, and we stopped at a light in the Azalea district, and we're like there for like a whole 2 minutes, and we're like, what is happening?
It was much longer than that.
It was just not changing. So I pulled up my app and I reported it, and it showed you like it has like location, so the app knows where you're at. You don't have to like figure out what street you're in. And before we were even done with lunch, I had already gotten a call from one of our people in the engineering department, and they told us that, which I didn't know this, that sometimes if people park on the side of the road and they're in the way of the detector, then the detector gets kind of off balance, because now it's reading cars as like objects, and it doesn't react to actual cars anymore. So that's what happened there.
Wow.
Yes, that does happen.
That is neat. That is a good thing.
But so I learned something new, and the issue was fixed, and it was great. And then later that week, I had another one where I think the red light was off completely, and I reported it again, and that same day it was fixed.
Yes, residents of Tyler, we do patrol the streets for you and report all the issues. Code loves us. Traffic, they love us too.
We have
very nice.
Another instance of that working that we actually caught on video because we were doing an episode of Walking with Bob to talk about our app and kind of promote it a little bit, and we just happened to use a pothole as an example, and so during the shoot of the video we reported the pothole, and we were able, before the video was even finished being edited, and those things turn around like 1 or 2 days, and before the video was even finished, Jenny, who did the video with me, said, the pothole's already fixed out there. And so I ran back out there and got some more shots of it actually fixed before we even finished the video. And so that's an example that we actually caught on video. And it wasn't because it was us. We didn't report who was, hey, we're doing a video out here, come fix this pothole. It was because we were actually reporting it just like you would with the My Tyler app.
So if you want to watch that video, it's called There's an App for That.
Yeah.
We will put that in the show notes.
Yes.
We'll link
It's
to
also,
it.
I was going to say, it's also on our Facebook. It's on our YouTube. So if you want to search for it immediately, you can, or like they said, the show notes.
Check out our show
There's
notes.
another thing we did Walking with Bob on is bike lanes. Why are you spending money on bike lanes?
We get that question frequently.
Yes.
So Luann, why are we spending money on bike lanes?
We didn't really spend a whole lot on that. We spent some, but there was a grant, and there was some other money that came to us for that, and bike lanes are part of our transportation system. It's a everybody shares the road type of situation, and we have transportation for cars, for public buses, for bicycles, for people walking. So we wanted to put some bike lanes in, and we actually were able to get a grant to do that. And the system of the bicycle lanes was actually designed by the University of Texas at Tyler engineering team up there. They came up with this idea, and it connects all the colleges, Texas College, UT Tyler, and TJC together with a central hub that we call it downtown, and it's been great. There are some questions that come in from that time to time, because sometimes the bike lanes, are painted on the street, and it may look like the road isn't wide enough anymore, but you are allowed to drive in those bike lanes if there's no bicyclist there.
You can also
get
park
over
there.
to the side. You can park there. So it's part of our transportation system. It's part of the rules of the road. Bicycles are allowed to use the road, so that's
it's not bicycles are allowed. It's they should.
They
correct?
should, yes. They should use the road and be to the far right of the road. So that's why they're there. They also, the bike lanes give a segregated area for the cyclist. It all, with the studies that have been done with our traffic engineer, even in his expertise in that, it highlights the bicyclist. It lets us see them a little bit better than if they were just not in a designated area. So that's why we have them, and we're enjoying them.
Yeah, I feel a lot safer, honestly, because we bike quite a bit, and it's been really nice having a space where I know that drivers are looking for me. So I really appreciate that as a frequent bicyclist.
I'll just say as a driver, I appreciate it because it keeps me mindful to think about that. Because, I mean, we do have a big bicycle community in Tyler, and so we want everybody to be safe.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good way to just make people be more mindful and give bicyclists that visibility.
Give them part of the road. They need it.
Yes, exactly.
You worried me when you talked about you are able to park in those bike lanes. But it brings to mind the scene from Wayne's World where she's driving along and she's waving at Wayne, but she's not looking where she's going. She's on a bicycle and she slams into the back of a car. Just everybody be careful. Don't be waving at Wayne when you're riding your bike, and none of that will happen.
Look out for each other.
Follow the rules of the road.
All right, Julie, you want to get this next one here?
Okay, so
Last question. Last question.
Oh, yeah.
Last question of this segment for Luann. I know we've been grilling you about roads. Yes.
It's okay.
But one we get a lot is, why is my street so rough now that you fixed it? So you went in there, you fixed it. I don't like it as much. What's up with that?
That does happen. There's several different surface treatments that we can use to repair roads and also extend the life of roadways. This is done by what we call a pavement condition index. It's a score that's given to all our streets every few years. Also, our technician that specializes in this asphalt enhancement program, he'll go out and drive some of these routes. But there's different surface treatments for it. One is just called overlay. It's a thick coating over the road. It's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches, and that's for roads that are deteriorating quite a bit. And it seals them, seals all the cracks, puts a new surface on it. So it's going to be rough for a while because there's aggregate in there, there's gravel in there, and there's oil in there. And then there's also seal coating, and seal coating is it's a thinner surface, but it is a hot oil mix, and then they put some rocks over it, and those rocks over time will sink down into the oil, but it takes a while. So yeah, cyclists do not like seal coat because it's a little rougher, but over time it does smooth out.
And then you end up, of course, with a nice, smooth road. Good stuff, Luann. Well, coming up next, we're going to cover a lot more topics, but we're going to do it in a fun way. We have a game. It's called Not It.
Yes.
How does this game work? Well, give me a little preview of how it's going to work.
Well, you're going to ask a question, and we're going to tell you, that's not us.
So the answer to every question is not it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting segment. Stick around. That's coming up next here on Roses and Weeds from the Inbox.
Whether it's for business, a family getaway, exploring aviation history, or learning to fly, we offer endless possibilities. Take flight at Tyler Pounds Regional Airport. Visit flytyr.com to learn more.
And we're back in downtown Tyler. I'm Julie Goodgame, here hosting with Bob Malden and the City of Tyler Communications team. And we are about to play a new game on Roses and Weeds. I don't think we've played this one before,
No.
Bob.
Have we played games on Roses and Weeds at all before? I don't know.
We have.
Okay. All right. Good
We
deal.
have. All the council member episodes.
That's right.
We've played some fun games.
Yes, we have.
This is a very special game. So in the inbox, we frequently get questions, right? And a lot of them are city specific, but some of them are for entities that actually are not the city. Mm-hmm. And so this is a game that we will now call Not It. We are not it. But we always try to help those who contact us and those who write in through any of our channels. We always try to and explain to people processes and help them understand who is it. Mm-hmm. So that's what this is based on. We're going to give you some context about the questions and help you better understand who does what in the city of Tyler.
I guarantee you, if you ever write in, they're not going to respond, not it. So
Tempted, but we have not done that.
We will get fired.
Yeah, for the sake of fun today, we're going to say not it.
Yes.
But if you write them, they are going to give you an answer and help you find the right answer. But this helps you, I think, understand what it is that we do and what it is that we don't do. And so let's get started with Not It.
Okay, first question. City of Tyler, my street light is out. When are you going to come fix it?
Not it.
All right, so explain to me, who is it and who do I need to get in touch with to get this taken care of?
Well, we are going to direct you to Encore. Encore is the electric provider here in the city of Tyler. So we're going to give you either a link to their website or give you a phone number to call. You can Google that. It's pretty easy. Just Google Encore. Their whole thing will come up. You can report your street light out or your power outage and go from there. It may even already have that there's a power outage in this area and what the estimated time is to fix that. So it's a very informative website.
It is. And during major weather events, we always try to put that information out on our social channels. So even if you're not following them, if you're following us and you have a power outage, check our channels during a weather event and we'll usually have that contact information up. So we still got you, but we aren't the ones that actually are going to come out and fix those lights.
And the same, if there's a pole down or a cable that's on the street, we will try to contact Encore, but at the end of the day, it will be Encore or AT&T or whoever owns the pole and the line that will have to fix it.
And just an interesting fact for you, city crews cannot touch other utility companies' lines, power poles, those types of things. It's a liability, so that's why I know it would be better to just easily have somebody come out and fix things, but that's why we tell you here's the correct person to contact, or we'll contact them for you sometimes if it's, like something with a railroad. But that's why those things happen that way.
Well, we're getting another email here, and Julie, we have our next question. What is it?
Okay, City of Tyler, why are you letting insert organization here do an event on the square?
Oh, why are we doing that?
All right, so first, even though the downtown square is in downtown Tyler, the city of Tyler does not own it. It's actually owned and maintained by Smith County. And so Smith County, all you have to do is go to their website and submit that you're wanting to have an event, and they do not deny events. And the reason why no event is denied is because that would go against your First Amendment rights. Now, the First Amendment gives you the right to have the freedom of speech, and so that's why these events are allowed.
And freedom of assembly.
And freedom of assembly, thank you, yes. So that's why you might see an event that you personally don't agree with, but because everybody's trying to follow the law, that's why certain events are allowed to take place.
So as long as it's speech that is constitutionally protected.
Yes, that is right.
Yes, and so
hate speech is not constitutionally protected. So if there's ever an event like that going on, please contact us. Let us know, let the county know. That way it can be addressed.
But definitely not it.
But not it, that's right.
Not it on that one.
Don't on the square.
We're getting another message here, Julie. This one is a frequently asked question here.
City of Tyler, why do we not have a Costco? Why are you keeping Costco from me?
Well, certainly not it on that one. We do not kick anyone out of Tyler. We do not bring any company in Tyler. We obviously welcome everybody here. We want that for our economy. But it's all about demand. So if there's a store like an H-E-B or, I don't know, people really like groceries here. They're always
everyone's about
food groceries. So if you want a specific grocery or store or IKEA, maybe try contacting them. And if they see enough demand, they might consider it. There's no promises. It also depends on the infrastructure that they need to be in a different city, or even the population. We might just be not big enough for them, but we will get there maybe eventually.
So market forces definitely at play, and we get this question a lot, and Costco certainly is a name that we get a lot, but for lots of different businesses, people asking and with the assumption that we somehow approve or deny, and we do not approve or deny specific businesses at all. So so
as long as it's on our zoning,
yes,
you're good to go.
If you've got the zoning for it, come on. If we've got the market and you've got the zoning.
Getting another message here across the internet. Julie, what is this one?
Oh, I see it. I see it right here, Bob. Okay. And this is a little bit in line with the one before that we get. City of Tyler, why are you not letting other internet providers in town?
Not it. We want the same things as you. We all live here.
We all want choice. Yes.
Yeah.
We all want choices. But no, we get this question a lot. And internet companies, it's like Julie said, it's kind of the same as the demand and on the previous question, but it does have an extra barrier of internet companies need a lot of infrastructure that is very expensive. So we've had Suddenlink, or what is now Optimum, here in Tyler for many, many years. So they're the ones that and that it's easier for them to expand services or to add new things because they're already here. For a new company to come, they would have to install every line and tear up every single street and go into every single house to be able to provide that service. And for some companies, it's just not worth it, and they don't think it would be worth their money and their investment. But thankfully, that has changed in the past maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and we have actually 2 companies that are currently right now installing fiber to home in Tyler, and that is Metronet and Vexus. So the choices are coming, and we're very excited about it.
And it's really not even the choice just for the sake of wanting to change. It's wanting to have that choice so that if something's not working, we can call up our current internet provider and threaten to switch. Leverage.
Market forces.
Yes. All right. House woes. We're going to talk about things like your water bill and how your water tastes, why you're not getting a tap in your new home fast enough. All of those things we're going to discuss as we answer all of your questions right here on Roses and Weeds next.
Looking for your new forever best friend? Come on down to Tyler Animal Services. We have dogs, cats, and sometimes pocket pets available for adoption. Come find your new best friend at 4218 Chandler Highway in Tyler. You can also see available pets for adoption by visiting our website, cityoftyler.org.
We're back here on Roses and Weeds. I'm Bob Malden, and I'm joined by co-host Julie Goodgame and a host of others here. Adriana Rodriguez, Peyton Weidman, Lou Ann Campbell. It is the entire City of Tyler communications team, and this is a special episode of the podcast because, as we told you earlier, we're getting ready for that big new live Facebook streaming program where you ladies will be talking about all the things, all the questions that come in, and it's called From the Inbox.
That's right.
Much like this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We'll be doing pretty much the same thing. We'll be answering any questions that you might have, and we're also going to be telling you all about events and projects that are coming up or going on within the City of Tyler. Our first episode is going to be on January 18th at 9 a.m. And we'll be posting to our Facebook to remind you that it's coming up, and so be sure to tune in.
And if you follow us, you'll get a notification as soon as we start.
Yep.
That's right.
We will let you know. This segment is called House Woes, and I love that because Adriana and I have a favorite show right now where woe is in every title of the episode. I love it. Wednesday, if we can plug that. I don't know if we can or not. But anyway, why is my water bill so high? We're getting questions about that. They've been coming in through the email. There's been an adjustment to some residential rates depending on how much you use. And so let's discuss what's going on with the water rates.
Yes. Well, this year we did ask our city council to approve a rate structure, a different rate structure. We were a declining rate structure. We are now an inclining rate structure. And we are one of the last cities in Texas to do this. But basically what was happening before is that your first 2,000 gallons of water usage was subsidized by TWU, by Tyler Water Utilities.
Can we cut and come back to that? We're not inclining, we're flat rate, right?
We went to flat rate.
We went to flat rate. Not inclining.
Why do I keep saying inclining?
Because back in
That's
the
what
day,
they were going
to do that, and then they went to. So
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to.
All right.
That's okay. I'll
So it's flat rate.
Again.
Everybody pays the same.
Yeah.
Everybody
Okay.
pays
Sorry.
the same.
No worries.
All right, edit here, and we're going to ask, why is my water bill so high?
Well, this year we did have to ask the city council to approve a different rate structure for Tyler Water Utilities. We went from a declining rate structure to a flat rate structure. Before, we were Tyler Water Utilities was subsidizing the first 2,000 gallons of usage. So in a certain sense, customers were not having to pay for that first 2,000 gallons. They had to pay for their service fees and all the other fees that come with that, with their sewer and the stormwater fee that's included in the bill. But the first 2,000 gallons you weren't having to pay for. Well, now that there's more residents here in Tyler and just more stuff going on with our water system, that we need to have more money in our account, we had to go away from that structure and make this more fair and equitable. The flat rate structure was the best. So everybody pays now for the amount of water they use, whether you use 10,000 gallons or 100 gallons. That would be very low usage, but usually everybody's around, a house with one person or a couple might use about, 1,500 to 2,000 gallons, where a big family might use up to 5,000 gallons. And then if you have a pool, there's probably more in that. So everybody right now is paying the same amount for the amount of water that they do use, and that is helping us do a lot of things. It's going to help us fix the system, basically inject money into the system to fix some of the things that are wrong with it, and some of the things that need to be fixed, to upgrade lines, to help out the water treatment plants, because this Tyler Water Utilities is not tax funded. It is a enterprise fund, so the funds are what you're paying for your water and your sewer.
Isn't this also to help encourage water conservatism?
Yes, it is.
Conservation.
Thank you.
It's called water conservation. Yes, that.
We have very political water here.
That's right.
Oh, there's Stuart. Our council member.
He's at the window.
If he stands right about there, scoot over that way just a little.
This way.
Walk over.
Way.
Yeah,
this
brother.
way.
Okay, there we go. Now I can get him. There he is. Now wave at the camera right there. Councilman Stuart Haney walking by here. You never know who's going to walk by downtown.
So where were we? Oh yeah,
Water conservation.
Water conservation. Yes, we did this for a number of reasons. Definitely to make the system more fair and equitable, but also to promote water conservation. This year is one of the first years here in a long time that we had to do some water conservation measures when it got really hot this summer. So this will definitely help with that as well. And it's just good practice. We have a lot of water around here. Our lake is pretty full. We managed to use it really well to supply our customers with drinking water, but we also want to conserve that and take care of that for the long haul.
And there are things you can do, like say if this is affecting you, impacting your family, there are things you can do to help kind of cut down on your water usage in your home. What are some tips for that?
Definitely, you want to. Well, the first thing you probably want to do is not water your yard so much. I know it's hard to think about now when it's raining outside a lot, but it wasn't raining a lot this summer, so it's cutting that down to just a few minutes every few days or 3 days a week is a good practice, and doing that in the evening after sunset or way before sunrise is also a good practice, because the water will not evaporate from the yard as quickly. You'll also one thing you can do is go around your house and make sure that nothing is leaking. There's not a toilet running, or there's not a faucet that's dripping just a little bit, because any sort of thing like that will raise your water bill quite a bit, and you won't even really notice it, but it'll just appear on your bill because you did use that money or that water. I'm sorry. Also, it could be something with your sprinkler system if you do have one of those. There could be a leak underneath, but you do want to just go around and make sure you don't have any leaks in your house and make sure that all that's taken care of.
Where I just moved in, Luann, is new construction, and so there were new sprinkler systems going in all around, and my backyard stayed a lake for like weeks, and I was trying to figure out why. And the new house built next door, their sprinkler system was set up wrong. We finally figured out. They thought I was crazy. I told them the water was coming from next door, and they finally went in and they said they got the company to come out and check it. It had been set up wrong. Rather than watering for 40 minutes twice a week, they were watering for 20 minutes 4 times a day, every day.
Oh, wow.
Every day. And so, watch things like that, because it could really, really impact
That's a
your
high
water bill.
That
is a very high.
It was on the builder because nobody was moved in there yet. So the builder had to pay that water bill. Okay, moving along here. Yeah, definitely check on things like that. Julie, our next issue having to do also with water.
So another question we get quite a bit, and oftentimes it's cyclical around either seasonally or when we do maintenance to the system, we'll get questions about taste or smell of water, and we'll get write-ins about, I don't like the taste, I don't like the smell. Is it safe? So, Luann, can you speak to taste and smell?
Yes, taste and smell is a water quality a water quality issue. A lot of it is personal. Some people are very sensitive to smell and taste, and our water comes from Lake Tyler and Lake Palestine. So like certain times of year, like Julie said, there'll be an uptick in the amount of geosmin that's found in this water. And geosmin is naturally occurring. It occurs in nature. It's what you would taste in like beets or spinach. I know
Mushrooms and wine.
That too, yes.
Lots of hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
It's a dinner party. A dinner party in a glass.
So we try really hard out at the plants to take all of that taste out, but sometimes it's impossible when there's, a high amount of it due to the time of year or what the weather is. So you may get some of that taste in your water. And
it's earthy, right?
It's very earthy.
It's an earthy taste.
It's an earthy
so that's what that is.
It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with your water. It just means that you either don't like that taste or you're very sensitive to it and you don't prefer it. Again, there's nothing wrong with your water. There's some things you can do to it to get that to go away or to minimize that. And one thing you can do is put some lemon in it. Of course, you can filter it if you need to do that. Another thing you can do is just chill it. Put a picture of it in the fridge. Let it chill out a little bit, and it should take care of some of that for you.
I always put ice in my water, and I never taste anything weird about it. I think just something about it being colder does help. But
What happened?
Okay, I'm still here. Don't know what happened.
I heard a click.
Yeah, but so anyway, I'm going to start off with that. Again, another edit. This is going to be one of those I have to listen for everything. Okay. So I always put ice in my water, so I don't really ever taste anything different anyway. Something to do with chilling it does actually help. But rest assured, the City of Tyler water always is safe. It's tested hundreds of times, and taste does not equal quality.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's correct.
Awesome. So another one, again, having to do with water here. I'm building a new home. Why does it take so long to get my water turned on?
Yes, well, there's a lot of construction going on. We have only a certain amount of employees that work up there at TWU, and those requests are taken in down at the water service center or the water business office, and they're handed over to the water service center, and there's only certain times where they'll go out and do those. So those it may take a week. It may take a week and a half for your water to get set up. So just be patient. It is going to get set up. You can call and ask if they have a timeline, but yes, it will take a little bit. It's not going to be a next day turnaround. It might be a week turnaround. It might be a week and a half. So. And it is just due to having some extra houses that are coming online here and new construction. Yes.
Okay. And so here's another question. And this one came up rather recently. And it was a good question that we got because it actually did, in this instance, this last year, we had a siren malfunction. And so we didn't actually have a warning siren. But what the question that was asked after that was, why can I not hear the outdoor warning sirens generally? And I was actually surprised at the answer as well. I learned something too about this. But so, Adriana, why don't you speak to outdoor warning sirens?
Yeah, so I actually didn't know this either. Like the first time I got this question, I emailed our police department, our fire department, and asked them, hey, like this person says they can't hear their warning siren inside their house. And our fire chief informed me like they're not meant to. These are outdoor warning sirens. And after he said that, I was like, oh, of course.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
Yes, hence the name outdoor warning system.
Yes, it does.
So these are for people when you're driving around, walking outside, and there's incoming bad weather or any of the emergency, then you can hear it. But inside your home, you're supposed to be able to like turn on the TV or even use Rave Alert. We have this amazing system called Rave Alert or Smart 911 if you're looking for the app that you sign up. It's free. It's confidential, and you will get notifications straight to your phone. Like you can make it be a call, a text message, or just a notification that pops up that tells you when there's an emergency. Even we've sent it for like if there's going to be a water outage, like if there's a water main break in your neighborhood, they'll notify you through there. If there's a missing person that someone's looking for, we can get notified there, and you can set up all the preferences. But it's really good. So if you go to our website cityoftyler.org, you'll see on our banner in the front page Rave Alert or Smart 911. We recommend you sign up if you really want to know what's going on.
And You don't even have to have a cell phone to do this. You can have the old-fashioned landline. You can still set it up to give you a phone call, and you can go answer that phone, and it'll tell you.
Yes. And a neat thing is that you can sign up for Tyler, but say you have a child or family member in another city, you can sign up for that city if they have the program, but a lot of them do now. And so you can receive alerts about your loved ones and where they are as well.
So, and I hadn't signed up for this, I think, until because I was always like, okay, well, I'll just listen for the siren, because sometimes you can hear the siren from inside your house. So I erroneously assumed that would be my alert. But I can tell you that I know. So be on the ball. Don't be like me. Be more proactive for your health and safety. But I will say, after I've been using it, and especially over the last few months, as we have had weather events and breaks, and to get those all of the time, it's really nice because it allows you to plan ahead. I never worry about where I am. I'm going to hear my phone, or I'm going to hear it. So I can't recommend that service enough. I should have been using this a long time ago.
I didn't think about that option of being able to get it for where your kids live.
Yes.
And my mom was very weather proactive when I was younger. She would, I would be on the radio doing the tornado warning. I would be telling people there's a tornado warning. Meanwhile, the emergency line is ringing on the phone, and I get done and answer that. Did you know there's a tornado in the area? I did. I love my mom.
Hey,
She's very
Dad,
on top of it.
You can set up Rave Alert all the way in Puerto Rico.
Probably what's going on with her. Yeah.
You're good.
Okay, my neighbor has a loud dog, or there's loud cars in my neighborhood all the time. Do something. What do we do?
Okay, so first of all, we have a city ordinance that talks about noise violations. So there's not going to be a need to call animal services if it's a dog, or the city, or code enforcement. You want to call the Tyler Police Department's non-emergency number, which is 903-531-1000. And if an officer is available, they will send him out to come check it out. And remember, we have this ordinance, so it does have restrictions in place on how loud the noise has to be. The officer will come to your home and measure from your home, because you're the one making the call. And so based on certain decibel, I believe it's 0.75, which probably doesn't mean much to us, but the officer will understand, and he'll verify. And if that noise is louder than what it's supposed to be, they will go over and address it. I know we've received some questions lately about businesses, and that works for businesses as well. It's not just pets. It's not just, I hear a loud car driving by, or my neighbor's being loud. So it's also for businesses. And like I said, the Tyler Police Department's non-emergency numbers, who you want to call about that. So that's 903-531-1000.
But again, it is all regulated by ordinance, so it's a really good idea to go online and read the ordinance and understand that.
For those of you watching or listening, I'm pulling out my phone because I looked this up earlier today, and I forgot to write it down, but just so I can read it to y'all. Just so you understand.
You have the ordinance. I love it.
No, I don't. I have a different ordinance.
Oh. Is it the one about the animals?
It sure is.
Okay, good, because that's where we're going next. So keep that up.
That's right. Just keep it up here.
So we talked about the dogs barking a little bit earlier, and is that a reason to call animal control?
No, if you are concerned about an animal's welfare, please, yes, call Tyler Animal Control. They will come out and do a check on that animal. But the Tyler Police Department, they are the ones that handle noise complaints. So that's why you want to call TPD if you're hearing a loud dog bark that you think is so excessive it's breaking that ordinance.
Ooh, do they take the noise meter for the dogs too?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
wow.
They do actually. We've gotten several messages about dogs barking and late at night, and
we do get a lot of them about the cars being too loud. Those are harder to measure, because once the car is gone, it's gone. You can't do anything about it unless it's your neighbor's car or they're racing around in circles. Then PD will be able to address it. Yes. Otherwise, cars, that's one that it's very hard to measure and address.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so definitely good stuff there. And there's another one here about animals, and this gets a little morbid, but I found a dead animal in my yard. What do I do? We have some stories about what not to do, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Happens more often than you would think. That's why it's on our frequently asked questions.
Yes.
Who in here has found a dead animal in their yard?
Me, twice in 1 year. So the first one, I was at work, and my boyfriend calls me, and he's like, there's a dead rooster in our yard.
A rooster?
Yeah, I think he got shocked with the power pole or something.
During a storm, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, let me call animal control and see what we need to do. He's like, oh no, I already threw it in the ditch. I'm like, what do you mean you threw it in the ditch? You're not supposed to do that. He's like, well, I didn't want it in my yard. I was like, well, don't do that in the future. Now we can't do anything about it. But then the second time this happened, it was another dead animal, and I was home this time, so I was able to teach him how to properly handle this, which is you have to put it in a bag, put it in your curb, and call animal control, and they'll come pick it up.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Please do not place it in the trash can. And this is the ordinance I did write down. So according to City Ordinance, Chapter 16, Solid Waste Disposal Regulations, Section 16.9, the city will, upon request, remove such dead animals. They're only going to remove dead animals between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. And it's going to be small dead animals which are bagged and placed at the curbside, just like Adriana said, and they'll do it without a charge during those hours.
Well, and actually, if you call animal control on a weekend and they don't have a large call volume, they will be able to pick it up even on a weekend. My case was on a Saturday, and they were home before 5 p.m.
So I'm so glad that you were there to teach him the right way to do that, because his way just caused problems for us all later.
Only water in the water inlets.
Yes, please. Only water in the water inlets.
And then if there is a dead animal impeding traffic, if you see one on the roadway in the middle of the road, you can call the Tyler Police Department to alert them. Once again, please call that non-emergency number, 903-531-1000, and they will send somebody out there to take care of it. But that's only if it's impeding traffic. If it's off to the side of the road and out of the way, they're not going to come and address it. But you can call animal control, and if they're available, they will come and take care of that.
Well, I have a feeling in this next segment we're going to hear from Adriana a lot. We're going to be talking about quality of life when we return here on a very entertaining episode of Roses and Weeds. It's called From the Inbox, and we're back in just a moment.
Skip the line and avoid late fees. Tyler Water Utilities offers several convenient ways to pay your utility bill. Leave a check or money order in one of our 2 Dropbox locations at the Water Business Office, 511 West Locust Street, or the Rice Road Brookshire's Grocery Store parking lot. Visit cityoftyler.org for our pay online options, or go to Tyler Water Utilities webpage where you can sign up for AutoDraft and see our list of authorized payment locations.
And we're back in downtown Tyler. This is Roses and Weeds with Bob Malden. I'm Julie Goodgame, and we have got our entire communications team here, Adriana, Peyton, and Luann. And we're just answering your burning questions about all things Tyler that we've accumulated throughout the year. In this next section, we are going to focus on things like our parks and our library and quality of life questions that we get all of the time. So I will start with this one that we get for the library quite a bit, and it is, why do I have to pay a library membership if I have a Tyler address?
So you have to pay really close attention to your Tyler address, because if you are inside city limits, you do not have to pay a membership. This is a free service for all Tyler city residents because you pay with it with your taxes. But if you live outside city limits, that means you do not pay city taxes. Therefore, you're not really contributing to the funding of the library. So we do have a small membership fee, and it depends on if you want to do like a month, 6 months, or a year, and the cost will vary. And the longer your membership is, the cheaper it is in the long run. But yes, you have to make sure your address is actually in the city limits. If it says county road, if it's like I think it's 5-digit numbers are not city
Those
of
are
Tyler.
county.
Those are county numbers. But this does not mean you cannot use the library. So even if you're outside of city limits, if your kid goes to a Tyler ISD school or a school inside city limits, you can still go to the library free of charge and rent out books and everything. But also, all our programs at the library are free. No matter who you are or where you come from, you do not need a membership or a card to visit our library and to just enjoy our programming or even read our books. The only reason you need the card is to check out books or to access some of our online materials like Cloud Library and some other apps that we do have.
So pay really close attention, because just because it says Tyler doesn't mean it's part of the incorporated city. That is fascinating. I am enthralled.
Hey, Adriana.
Yes.
Why are there no lights at the parks at night?
Well, this is another city ordinance.
Okay.
I do not have the number like Peyton, but I do have it memorized.
Won't bore you like I did.
We do get this a lot, so I do have it memorized. Our parks are technically closed from sunset to sunrise. So you should not be at the park at all if there is no light. That is why we do not have lights in the park. We do have some for security purposes to be able to have some areas that might be darker and may need some lighting to prevent crime or vandalism. But in general, we do not have lights in any like tennis court or playground, just because you're not supposed to be there, except for our regional park or Faulkner Park or Golden Road Park, because that's where we play tournaments. So if there's a tournament happening, the league that is sponsoring that tournament will pay a fee to have those lights on.
Okay. So here's another one involving parks. I love this one. Where are all the pickleball courts? When am I getting more? Because I love...
Yeah, they're taking over my tennis courts. Y'all are taking over my tennis courts.
Me some pickleball.
Pickleball.
So pickleball is like a version of tennis that's a little bit more friendly for those of us that do not know how to play tennis or are not able to play tennis.
Now I'm interested.
Not as fast moving a sport, I have found. It's more leisurely.
Yes, but we do have a huge fan base of pickleball players here in Tyler, and we hear you. We know you're there. We're here to serve you.
I'm one of you. I'm with you, people.
We actually already have 3 pickleball courts. We have one indoor at the Glass Recreation Center in Waldrop Park.
I believe there's a group that meets on Fridays too to play. So if you're interested, just call the Glass Rec, and I'm sure they can tell you all about it.
They have a whole schedule.
Oh my goodness.
Is it a teaching group? Because I might need to go learn.
They will teach you.
Okay.
Yes, they
sure
want
they
more
will.
people. We do have one at Faulkner Park in our tennis center area, and we recently added one at Burkeville Park in our new tennis court / pickleball court behind the big stage. But that is not all. We're adding more. What is that commercial? the guy with the beard.
But that's not all.
Pickleball for all.
Yes. So we're also adding pickleball courts at Pollard Park. This is the park that most recently we're renovating, and is going to be completely redone. And part of that renovation includes pickleball courts that will only be for pickleball. This is like tongue twister. But that means that you do not have to share these courts with tennis players. They will have their own courts, and you will have your own.
Wow, very cool. So we're in the winter now. This is a very valid point for right now. Why are the water fountains in the parks turned off during the winter?
So next week we're going to have 14-degree weather.
Time to hibernate.
The same way that your pipes in your house freeze, pipes everywhere will freeze. So the reason we turn off the water fountains and even close the bathrooms and turn off the water in the bathrooms is because we're trying to prevent pipe from bursting. So it will be inconvenient for a little bit, but it will actually be better in the long run, because if a pipe bursts, it will be closed for even longer. So as long as temperatures drop and go under below freezing, we will unfortunately have to turn off water in all our parks. Just bring your water bottle. Make sure you plan your trip before and after you go to the restroom, and you won't have to use it.
I think thankfully we have enough gas stations around parks that hopefully you're able to find a location during the season when our bathrooms are closed.
But stay hydrated. Just because it's cold does not mean you do not need water.
Very true.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, so last question.
Yes.
And this one's about downtown. We get this one a lot. Why are there so many abandoned buildings?
Okay, so it might look like there are a lot of abandoned buildings downtown, but lately, over the last couple of years, they've been getting purchased. And I know several of the owners of these buildings were waiting for downtown to get this National Historic District accreditation, because with that, there opens up more grant funding for these businesses to be able to more easily revitalize. So, like, for example, the Carlton Hotel, that one was purchased back in 2021 by North Development, and they're going to invest $30 million to redo the Carlton Hotel and modify it, and it's going to be an apartment complex once they're done working on it.
And it's already started. They actually have started demo, and so there's work happening right now.
There is. It's just harder to see when they're inside the building and they're not tearing it down because, like I said, it's going to be apartments again. So, yes. And then, where was that other one we were just talking about?
Oh, the old Greyhound bus station.
That's right. Yes, that one was waiting on, like I was just talking about, the National Historic District. And so now that we received that back this summer, I know that they're planning on getting into that building and starting to remodel it. But then there are also plans to demolish buildings that are substandard and that we think will create a public health and risk. So we have the old Tyson home that one has been marked for demolition.
Yeah, and it's not just those three. We have multiple buildings.
Oh, yes.
I believe there's about 7 or 10 at this point that look bad right now, but they have been purchased. They do have plans, and they're working on it actively. And in the next 3 to 5 years, downtown's going to look completely different. We were talking about earlier, like the past 3 years, downtown has changed.
It really has.
I used to work in the theater at Liberty Hall, and at night, having to walk after a show, it was kind of scary because there was nothing happening. But now, like, no matter what time you're downtown, there's people everywhere because there's Andy's, there's cafe, there's different restaurants, and we have a new apartment complex and a new townhomes just
right beside City Hall. Our new neighbors.
And those are brand new and completely full. They actually have no vacancies at this point.
Wow.
Yes. And then speaking of changes, I mean, the Smith County Courthouse was approved. So the current courthouse is going to be demolished eventually, and a new building is going to be built at a different location, still near downtown though. And so that's just going to completely change. So there is a lot going on downtown, even though you may not be able to see it if you're only coming down here after 5 p.m. or on the weekends, because those aren't business hours. So just know that there is a lot going on downtown.
And we also have our program with Tool Design. Yes. That we're working on them too. That's going to be more about streetscaping and parking and more green space. We're going to be evaluating those one-way roads and see if they need to stay one way or if they can be turned into 2 ways. We started a pilot program last winter of turning some of these lights into flashing lights instead of regular traffic lights, and it worked out that people liked it more, and it was more efficient for riders to have to only stop at a stoplight instead of a stop sign instead of an actual light. So we're working on that as well. So downtown is a poppin'.
Yes.
Plans have been made, properties have been purchased, so it sounds like there's a lot that has happened and will be happening. And I think, to your point, over the next couple of years, be paying very close attention. There's going to be a lot of really cool things, and even a couple of things in the pipeline that we really can't talk about.
That's right.
now.
That's right.
We have secrets.
We have secrets.
And
But you can hear about them in our live show that starts in January.
That's right, you sure can. Yeah. So
Nice.
one more plug for the live show that's coming up January 18th. That's a Wednesday at 9 a.m. From the Inbox is what we're calling it, where we're just going to be talking to you, answering any questions you may have about the city of Tyler, and telling you what's coming and what's going on for 2023.
And From the Inbox is the name of this episode, which we are wrapping up right now. And I'd like to say thanks to Luanna Campbell and Peyton Weidman, Adriana Rodriguez, and, of course, Julie Goodgame, all for being here and bringing you this segment, this show, really, which was all about your questions and things that we get asked throughout the year. And, it doesn't stop here. You have now opportunities with From the Inbox, the new series, and of course here on Roses and Weeds that we'd love to get your ideas for topics of the show. And to get your information onto these shows, what it is that you want to hear about, how do they reach out to us, Julie?
Well, you can always DM us on social media. We have all of the channels. We are everywhere. Just type City of Tyler and you will find us. Look for the logos. You can also email us at publicrelations@tylertexas.com. Tyler, Texas is all spelled out. And again, follow us, like us, rate us,
Roses
tag
and
us. Yes,
That's right.
Write things online and tag Roses and Weeds, and maybe we will appear. So, so many ways to talk to us.
So many ways. Well, it's been a great episode. Be sure to watch for that new series coming, streaming live in January. And for all the team here, my name is Bob Malden. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Happy holidays.